Thank you for staying with us. That is still Milan 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos. It's time for, excuse me, it's time for Milan Focus. This is the part where you get to be part of the conversation. We'll open the phone line very soon, but before then, we'll introduce our focal points for the day. And we are taking our two focal points off the front page of Vanguard newspaper. My name still remains Omobola Sandra, and I have Fuad Zahid with me via the phone line. And it was quite an interesting trend in the papers. We had quite a lot to talk about, and of course, one of the major highlights, from over the weekend, was the celebration of former head of state Major General Yakubu Gowon, retired at 90. And of course, in the backdrop of that, or off of that, was Peter Obi's celebratory message to Yakubu Gowon, and the reactions and the heat that he got for that particular celebratory message. Some people felt, well, he could have just kept it short and simple, or he could have just moved on. Some people have said, oh, he's just being desperate to be president, and thereby pandering to the needs of the political class or the political elites and all of that. It was quite a heated one. He said, and I quote, this is his message: "I am privileged to join other Nigerians of goodwill to celebrate a highly respected leader and former head of state, General Yakubu Gowon, on his 90th birthday anniversary. In a time of hate, you stood for love. At a time of strife, you stood for peace. At a time of division, you stood for unity. Your life of service to our great nation, Nigeria, stand as one of sacrifice, leadership, and unity. Your steadfast commitment to preserving the peace and sovereignty of Nigeria during a challenging period in our history will forever be remembered and revered. Your exemplary leadership and statesmanship remain an inspiration to younger and many generations of Nigerians. As we celebrate this milestone, I pray that God continues to grant you good health, wisdom, and the grace of true fruitfulness. May your legacy continue to guide us as we strive to build a more united, prosperous, and just Nigeria." Happy birthday, happy 90th birthday, Sir Peter Obi. That was Peter Obi's congratulatory or celebratory message to Yakubu Gowon, and he had quite a lot, or got quite a lot of heat. Some people said, oh, he's starting to look desperate to be Nigeria's president, saying he has become dash kissing. He has also, a lot of people just disagree with him as regards, the encomium that he posed on, Yakubu Gowon, especially with the role that Yakubu Gowon played in Nigeria's civil war that lasted 30 months. That's 1967 to 1970, and ended with the income, or the coming on of Olusegun Obasanjo at that time. A lot of people have said, oh, the name Gowon hits the nerve of an average Igbo man anytime, any day. And so people are like, oh, it was insensitive, to the sentiments of the average Igbo man, this particular, celebratory message. And of course, Peter Obi has, responded to critics as regards, why he had to do what he had to do, saying, oh, you can't pay evil with evil. You have to, that he's a Christian, and, he has to, do what he can to ensure that, we remain a unified country, remain, a one Nigeria. Let's, come together in peace and harmony. He said quite a lot, the question we're asking now is with this particular heat that Peter Obi got over a celebratory message to former head of state Yakubu Gowon, it apparently shows that there's still a lot of healing that needs to be done. There's still a lot of reconciliation. There's still a lot a lot of closure that we need. Okay, and that's why we're asking, how do we get this closure? Okay, how do we heal ourselves of the pain and the scars of the civil war in between 1967 and 1970? Fuad said something earlier that Nigeria is not the one that has experienced civil war. There are so many countries, even America, so many countries that have experienced civil war. France have experienced civil war in one way or the other. All right, but they've been able to move past it. They've been able to all come together. Okay, this is what happened. this is the truth of what happened, and this is your side, this is my side. Let's move on. Let's see what we can do. Okay, I'm sorry, whether or not they apologize, that's not even the issue here. But the point is, how do we heal ourselves of the pain and the scars of the civil war? Because it's very, very important for us to look forward now, work together hand in hand, and see if we can achieve a greater Nigeria. Okay, so that's the first focal point that we're looking at this morning. All right, and the second one, of course, is also a major headline on the front page of Vanguard. Federal government zero duty food import policy faces fresh hurdles, and that story is on page 21 of Vanguard newspaper, and that is going back on the importation of food items. Yes, the president gave a directive sometime this year, and a lot of Nigerians had been hopeful as regards that particular one. With the importation of certain food items, food prices would drop and people will be able to afford, basic food items. But the hopes of a lot of Nigerians now may be dashed because the import duty policy on essential food items has hit fresh hitches. So what we have now is the initial setback was they were waiting for the Ministry of Finance to issue relevant directive for commencement. All right, and while waiting, that caused a 2-month delay. But then, with the revelation that the federal government would forego 188 billion naira in revenue over the 5-month window of that particular duty waiver, there was some sort of concern on the part of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS, and the Ministry of Finance, and this unsettled them a bit. All right, so there had to be some sort of stoppage at that point. But then, giving further insight into the controversies, a key stakeholder in the policy implementation chain have expressed frustration over the unclear status of the zero import duty implementation, and that is why we're asking this morning. Presidential directives have become a problem at the point of implementation. This is not the only one. It's not only the food waiver directive. We're also looking at the pharmaceutical as well, and so many others like that, where the president has said, do this. Even the crude conversation as well, we've not gotten a clear we've not gotten clarity as regards whether or not it has been put into effect or whether it has been implemented. All right, but presidential directives have become a problem at the point of implementation. What does it say about the coordination of this particular government, and what can the government do to better coordinate themselves when it comes to presidential directives? Because the issue of food importation waivers, we need to talk about it because as it is now, purchasing power of a lot of people, especially as regards food, has gone really low. Food prices has gone really high. We can't start talking about the price of basic food items at this point. Now we all know how much the food is now. So if we can have this respite, what exactly is the way forward for us to get out of the controversies or the hurdles that this particular presidential directive is going through? And this issue of food importation waivers, do you think it should be reworked? Do you think they should, re-strategize it, or, what exactly is your advice at this point as regards this food importation waiver policy? All right, those are the focal points for this morning. Please, let's keep things clean. Very important. We're not going to accept divisive statements, especially as regards the Peter Obi celebratory message to Yakubu Gowon. So please keep things clean. My hand is permanently where it should be if any divisive statement comes up. We are all looking forward and working towards a better and a greater Nigeria. All right, so of course, as it is a tradition, we'll hear from Saheed Fuad first before we open the phone line for you to share your own thoughts as regards the focal points on the table this morning. Over to you, Fuad.
All right, thank you so much, Sandra. Again, a lot of healing. We still need a lot of healing, whether we like it or not. It's very unfortunate that, several decades after the Civil War, we're still talking about our efforts to heal up as a nation and work together for a common good. Whether we like it or not, I think the strength we have as a country is in our diversity, Sandra. That's one of the biggest strengths we have as a country. Again, whenever there's a sporting activity, you see the way Nigerians irrespective of tribe and ethnicity, the way they support our national teams, you understand that, look, we are united people, we are happy people, we love ourselves. But like I told one of our politicians over the weekend, that look, our politicians have succeeded in dividing us for their own benefits, actually. Along ethnic lines, religious lines, and then they subdue the people with ignorance, weaponizing poverty. So you have people who think that they are actually enemies, whereas no tribe is an enemy of any other tribe in this country, Sandra. The people we should be talking to do the right thing are our leaders who deliberately use these things to divide us. Again, we have to also look at history. I don't know when and why we stopped history at some point in this country, Sandra, because whether you like it or not, digging into history would also help with this closure. Like I recommended earlier in the morning, there are a lot of books that people can read to understand that, look, things have happened, but we need to move on with our lives. In a war situation, whether you like it or not, all is fair in war and love. So you can't continue to stay on that, because the blame game will continue until it will never end. Oh, this one caused this, that one caused that. Yeah, we understand that, look, for sake of closure, there's still a whole lot that has to be done to create equity, fairness, and justice, especially for the people of the Southeast. One of them we talked about, Alexander. There's no reason why the Southeast has only 5 states. At least in the minimum, it should be 6 states. But beyond the states, it's just important that as a people, we have to move on with our lives. We have to close ranks. We have to come ourselves together, bring ourselves together. And one of the easiest ways to do it is through good leadership. If our leaders have done what they are supposed to do, they brought prosperity to the people, we are not going to be talking about what happened during Biafra, really. By now, we'll be talking about how to get to the moon and make great exploits. So again, it goes back to leadership. Let our leaders do the right thing. Bring the dividends of democracy to all regions and people. And you see that, look, Nigerians are actually united. On the issue of the import waivers, I'm disturbed that it has become a trend under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for presidential directives to be given, and then when it comes to implementation, we falter completely. It's almost looking like, look, these directives are mere headliners to get people excited. It's almost looking like, oh, these policies are now, without thinking it through. Look, this is a policy for 5 months. 2 months have gone. Institutions are supposed to implement the policy are confused. They can't work in synergy. The same thing has happened with the crude for Naira. Up till now, Dangote has not confirmed to us whether that directive has been implemented. A month is almost gone on that one too. What about the pharmaceuticals and several other directives like that? So now that the president is back, I hope he's rested well. He has more energy now to now ensure that, look, he sits on his policy and ensure that when he gives a directive, people don't rework it. Like we saw with the customs, who was not given a counter directive in the form of a guideline. And now look at what has become of the policy now. Nothing has been done on that policy, which was supposed to make food affordable and more available to the people. So again, we are hoping that the president to look at these things, to rework some of his strategies, and make life more meaningful for Nigerians. Things are tough. He needs to step up. God bless Nigeria.
Thank you. Excuse me. Thank you very much, Said Fuad. Appreciate your contribution. So the phone line is open. It's 9:01, and you're listening to Mainland 98.3 FM. Don't forget, we are live on Facebook and YouTube at Mainland 98.3 FM. So you can as well drop your comments and your submission or your analysis in the live chat segment section of our streaming platforms at Mainland 98.3 FM, and we'll take them as the show progresses, of course. All right. And the number to call is 0913 60410. 0913 60410. That's the number to call. For WhatsApp messages, it's 0913 60430. 0913 60430. That is the number to send your WhatsApp messages to. So you see the way Fuhad gave his own comments as regards the Peter Obi, message. You see how it was very nice, very demure, very cutesy, and very sweet. So please, let's try to avoid divisive statements when we are giving our own, submission as regards what we're going to be talking about this one, as regards the 2 focal points, especially as regards the Peter Obi celebratory message to Yakubu Gowon. All right, so let's please keep things clean and ensure that, keep your thoughts in order. And also let's, make it as unemotional. Let's stay away from emotions, like why we understand that emotions are running high as well. 0913-6000-410. That is the number to call. You have just 2 minutes, and please let's stick within the 2 minutes time frame that is allotted to each caller. Thank you. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, my name is Samuel. I'm calling for K2RC.
All right, Mr. Samuel.
Yes. Concerning the attack on Peter Obi, I'm only interested if the attacks are coming from most of the attacks are coming from the Easterner. If most of the attacks are coming from the Easterner, it's very, very unfortunate. The hardline posture will not do them any favor. It will not take them to anywhere. That is that. Because of time, I would have loved to. Well, let me quickly point out something. During the period of Awolowo and Sikh era, Sikh conspired against Awolowo. This what the Igbos are agitating for now. Sikh conspired against Awolowo when Awolowo was insisting that something should be inserted in our constitution that any region that in future that you want to go is free to go, because the fact that Sikh being called Sikh of Africa, he believed it was so relevant, so he carried out that conspiracy and ensured that Awolowo was tried for felony. If they want us to be referring to all those things, there's no way the process of healing will take place. Concerning your president, it's just not fortunate. If some people are expecting something reasonable to come out of this government, all the pronouncements he has made, the only one that is standing today is subsidy is done. A pronouncement on the issue of this pharmaceutical issue has it been implemented. Pronouncements on the issue of crude, naira for crude has it been implemented. Pronouncements on the issue of food that we're expecting them to implement now, nothing good will come out of it. They are just dancing around the matters. Tinubu has nothing to offer. They are only trading with Nigeria. They are transnational leaders, not performing leaders. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your contribution, Mr. Samuel. 0913-6000-410. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes.
This is Habib.
Oh, you're welcome, Habib.
Yeah. You see, when we are talking about the unity of this nation, people that are not experienced it, it's always difficult for them to understand it. Let me just make it clear. My dad is an Yoruba man. My mom from Benue. Idoma presided. So if anybody thinking what Peter Obi did is wrong, you have never understand what they call the unity. The unity of Nigeria cannot be negotiated with any individual or group of people. But if they are thinking that the people that are criticized Peter Obi in terms of the wishing and they go on happy birthday, if those people witness how they fought for the unity of this country, they will only appreciate him for go on for the rest of his day. But the only word is I'm only preaching to the people. My daddy is a soldier from Osogbo, and he fought down Biafra war. He tell me the history, but that is what is discouraging me that I'm not joining soldier on today. It discouraged me that Abibi cannot be a soldier and be fighting your brother. And I look at it, it's true. With my mom from North and my daddy from Yoruba, how it's difficult for me to face a common Nigeria with a gun to be fighting with them. So this is the issue here that I'm always saying to the everybody. Let every one of us pray for that unity, and let us also negotiating the political power that we are also looking onto, that we want to be a president. If we will negotiate it through the political rally, through political campaign, conviction with the other part of the nation, without the unity of this country, no any session can be a president on its own. No any session of this world can decide on its own constitution. No any session of this world can raise a flag of other sovereignty states within other sovereignty nations. This is what bringing this disunity. You cannot stay in Nigeria and be raising another flag. This is the way we are questioning the attitudes of the people that are not experienced about this war. that are not even that are not even preaching about the unity of this nation. May God help our nation, and may God give all the soul of the people that are into all these challenges.
Thank
That
you.
is my input.
All right, and it's appreciated. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Once again, 0913-6000-410 for WhatsApp. It's 0913-6000-430. Hello, good morning.
Good evening. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
M쏘ɪᴜᴜ speaking from M쏘ɪᴜᴜ.
You're welcome.
See, this is the first time I'm applauding Obi. You understand? You did right. So you get it. See, if you go to the history of that, what happened, they understand it. The Easterners, they are just playing victimization. The five states, it was another man that did it. The former vice president of Nigeria, what's his name? He was the one that did that thing. He was the one that made something. His own region, he made it fight. The region, it was another man that aborted it. He was the one that started the regionalism and the war. If the casualty would have been in the Nigeria side, we wouldn't have been saying this, because the Easterners, they had the highest advantage. They were more in the army. They had the money. Ojukwu also, his father was one of the richest men. Louis Ojukwu was one of the richest men in Nigeria these days. So understand? So they are just playing.
Wait, while I get what you're trying to prove, but the question now is, how exactly do we move forward? How do we have closure? Yes, okay. Can you focus on that?
We should go for peace. We should go for peace. They should stop playing and beating. For the very first time in Nigeria history, an Igbo man is part of the military chief of staff, the chief of naval staff. It's an Igbo man. It has never happened in a certain.
I don't think that's going anywhere. All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate your contribution. AB Papedem 0913-6000-410. That is the number to call. Don't forget, we are live on Facebook and YouTube at Mainland 98.3 FM. Hello. Good morning.
Good morning to you. I'm Obola Sandra.
Yes. Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm well. Thank you.
Thank you, my dear. God bless you. God bless your lineage. And bless my country, Nigeria.
Okay.
You see, don't simply say amen. Amen, you. Because we want to unite together, we continue to pray for this country. Number one, when you talk of United Nigeria, who brings this United Nigeria to this country are the military. Look at the junta of 1966. Who are they? How many of them? By then, we are having 4 regions. From 1960, we have 3 regions. Of late 1964, we do have the Western region, making 4 regions in this country. And those militaries shock. Killing people of 3 regions, their military, their leader, their political leader, they kill all of them. They remove only 1 region. No flag was killed. And that is what brings disunity into this country. That's what brings tribal settlements into this country. That is what brings the religious equality into this country. Not political at all. So they are the ministries. Look at what happened there. And when the ministers take over, then we are in the parliamentary system of government. It is a good reason that brought us to this unitary government. We practice also this moment.
Prince Wise.
Yes.
What's the way forward?
The way forward now. What Obi has done, he got the right thing. Because if you want to govern this country, he must be looking for the right, looking for the left, and let Nigeria move forward. The congressional message sent to Baba and Gowan is very appropriate. And we Nigeria must forgive one another. You can sit at the round table to say sorry to one another and let move on. For me, to go back to the history. If you should go back to history, I'm telling you, Nigeria can't be won. But let us forgive the past and move forward. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Thank you very much, Prince Wise. It's all right. I would really appreciate if we can stay on focus. Well, I understand that, sometimes context is needed. You need some sort of background, but let's try to be as as padding as possible. I don't know if that's the right word to you, but what I'm trying to say is let's not drive the wedge even further by highlighting certain things. Let's try to see what we can do. The question is, how do we get closure, and what do we need to do in order for us to attain a state of healing as a country from what happened between 1967 and 1970, because apparently a lot of people still need some sort of closure as regards that one, so we can move forward as a nation. All right, 091360410. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes.
Yeah. My name is Victor from Ikeja.
You're welcome.
Ikeja. Yeah. Okay. About the one birthday message from Mubi, I think it would have been most appropriate if Nigeria itself has, or the leaders has chosen the right of forgiveness and taken a decision to rehabilitate the Southeast and to beg them for forgiveness. It would have been better, but what is happening today is continuous marginalization upon marginalization and all manner of wickedness. For me, let us things to be done for, especially from the world and the present leaders. And people who are saying what they don't know, who we call online and who we call on the public, begin to say what they don't know, they should stop, especially Prince Mᴏᴜ, or whatever he called himself. I'm sorry. I'm very, very sorry. But people should begin to stay on the issues and begin and stop narrating the issues they don't know. So I don't want to go back to the history. But what is happening today shows that the civil war is not yet over because of what is happening in the Southeast. Starting from the five eastern states, when others are having 7 and when others are having 5. The same thing with ministerial positions. So there are some states that have 4 ministerial appointments as we speak. But some of the Southeastern states, no state in the Southeast, even though there are just 5, have more than 1. In fact, some states have minister of state. So when we see all these things, do you think that people should begin to realize? No. They said that they are going to rehabilitate the Southeast and they are going to reconcile everybody. But that never happened. Up till today, the things are, the wide is getting wide, the gap is getting wider and wider every day. And we that are coming up, we came up to meet all these things. This thing would have been resolved the way it was resolved in the Rwandan issue. In Nigeria is not the only country that is civil war. It happened in Rwanda. But the leaders came in and they united the people. But that of Nigeria, they came up with all manner of against the Southeast and the continuous destruction of the Southeast up till today. So for me, Gowon has to beg for forgiveness because he committed genocide against the Southeast and against the Igbos. And until that is done, nobody should congratulate him. He ought to have died because he's a wicked man. Bye-bye.
Oh, look at that. Just look at that. I may have to take this off the focal point this morning if we are not going to coordinate ourselves or coordinate our language or coordinate our emotions as we, spew things out this morning. I would do all my best to be as professional and as respectful as possible. But I mentioned earlier, and I mentioned it really, really hard, that please, even reiterated it, that please, no divisive statements, and let's also keep our language clean. Let's try to, spread things out. We are all working towards a greater Nigeria. We're trying to see how we can, dispel hate and bitterness, amongst ourselves, so we can ensure that we work together and move forward as a country, as a nation, as a people. Okay, but if we are not going to coordinate our thoughts, if we're not going to coordinate our language or our statements, we may have to take that particular focus off the focal point this morning. So please, I would join us Please, let's respect ourselves and let's respect the radio. 0913-6000-410. That is the number to call to join the conversation this morning. You can also send WhatsApp messages to 0913-6000-430. This is Mainland 98.3 FM. You're on to Mainland Focus, and it's 18 minutes past 9. The focal points this morning is the celebratory message of Peter Obi to Yakubu Gowon and the heat that it generated on social media, saying that, he shouldn't have done that, or he should have just kept his message short and simple, or he's becoming too desperate to become president, and so, he's pandering to. So we're asking this question: how do we get closure? Because apparently, from the heat that Peter Obi got, a lot of people are still held in the past. A lot of people, their emotions still holds them down, and we can't move forward as a country if we do not straighten things out. And the question is, how do we get closure? How do we move forward? How do we heal as a country from what happened in between 1967 and 1970? That's 30 months of the civil war in Nigeria, where Yakubu Gowon played, a critical role. All right. So the second one, of course, is as regards food import waiver. So there's been a lot of difficulties as regards implementation of presidential directives in recent months. What exactly is the issue, and how can we get our government to coordinate themselves so that we can have some sort of direction in this particular administration? 0913-6000-410. Hello, good morning.
Morning. Is that Miss Sandra?
Yes, Mainland 98.3 FM. You're correct.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
My name is Chris. I'm calling from the country.
All right.
I listened to the last caller's submission, and I was moved to call you. You see, that guy who talked last, you don't misunderstand him. Because what he went through, he saw everything. As myself, we that come from the southeast, I don't know this topic now that they brought now. Is either you allow people to express their opinions.
You can express yourself without
No. You don't have to say that, because that guy, if you were there when my elder brother, who was supposed to train me when I was going to school, the corpse was brought home, you will understand what that guy was saying during the war. And now, since that time, how many years now? Southeast is only this geographical zone in this country that has 5 states, and they deny the Southeast 3 senators. They denied the Southeast 9 members of the House of Representatives. They denied the Southeast governor. They denied the Southeast so many federal allocations. They deny others will not share. They deny the Southeast. So where do we go from there? And since that time, everybody who has been saying no problem. They say no problem. So where I mean, I don't know. You see, I'm from the Southeast, and when you are saying this thing now, the thing is paining me. I'm telling you, since that time, nobody has ever thought of remedying or balancing or all the imbalances. The imbalances are so much. Go to Southeast now. It's like that Southeast is now rejected. I'm just coming from home just last Wednesday. Police everywhere. You can't get to Southeast until night because of police search, because of police army everywhere. What is happening? Are we no more the same? Are we no more in Nigeria? Are we no more a part of Nigeria? Go to Southeast. The roads are all bad. The roads are bad. We're not talking of the bypass. The bypass that used to cross the Benin and you get home. Go there now. It's as if to say the federal government supporting the kidnappers. They're supporting the kidnappers because the road is so bad and the kidnappers can even have a field day.
Thank you.
Making you that is dissecting you people like they are dissecting animals.
Thank you.
My sister, it's a very, 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 very wonderful thing. Because when you see it will be did well, that's all right. But that is better when you look at that all the people that lost their loved ones during this program. That's the civil war. You see the way they talk. They are not going to talk like you. You Sandra, who never saw the war. I know that you did not see the war. That is why you are having that. You are blaming that man. So let us back.
I did not blame that man. I don't know how that is. You're telling me that as some sort of blame, because I did not. All right, I did not at all. I'm just saying towards the end, he made a statement. If you were listening, I left him to express himself. But towards the end, he made a statement as regards the man should have died, and that's why I cut him off. All right. So please, let's. Whilst I understand that emotions are running really high, okay, but the question now is, how do we move on? How do we heal? All right. The pain is still there. The scars are still there. I understand that. We understand that at Milan 98.3 FM. So the question is, how do we move on? How do we heal? How do we attain a state of closure so that we can, work together and have something better? I think from the conversation so far, a lot of people are pointing towards leadership. Okay, I think that's what I'm getting from all of this. And I think Fuhad Sahid also mentioned something, in relation to that the leaders have not done well at all in order for us to attain some level of healing as a country from all of the things that we have gone through collectively as Nigerians. Okay, because whether you like it in one way or the other, there are a lot of people who, and may not be from that region, but have family, they have friends, there have been a lot of intertribal marriages since then, and there's been a lot of friendships, since then. So it affected everyone. But the point is that with the reactions that Peter Obi got from his celebratory message to Yakubu Gowon, there's still a lot of hate, there's still a lot of bitterness, and we're not going to move on if we still have that entrapped in a lot of people, millions of people. So the question is, how do we get closure and how do we attain a level of healing? I'm not blaming anyone. I'm not holding anyone responsible for any statement. I'm not, I'm putting Peter Obi on a pedestal either. But the question is, from the reactions that he got for his celebratory message, to the point that he had to reply and, calling for love, calling for forgiveness moving forward. All right. So, you're welcome into the studio, Said Fuhad. How are you doing?
Thank you for having me, Sandra. I understand the emotions that would naturally come with,
of course,
this particular focus.
Yes.
But just to respond to the caller before this caller, the last caller, this is radio. And when it comes to talking on radio, the fact that we open up our phone lines for you to be a part of the show does not mean we are not guided by rules. The things you can say maybe amongst friends in a beer parlor, in your private corner, cannot be brought on radio when it comes to the choice of words that the caller before the last used on the other statesman, Yakubu Gowon. Again, we've talked about perception. And I was listening to the focus, really, the questions around the focus. How do we heal? When it comes to a war situation, Sandra, naturally a lot would happen. People are saying, because you didn't witness it. Look, the reality is that you don't have to witness it. There are accounts, there are stories, there are things that people have seen. But what we're saying is that we're not the only nation that has gone through a civil war period. How do we move on? And look at the last caller. He now highlighted a lot of things. The marginalization, the fact that, look, why do we have 5 states, poor infrastructure in the southeast? That's exactly the kind of conversation we want.
Which we totally agree
to. So nobody will stop you if you raise pertinent issues around how to really create closure and create unity.
I think I've already had it.
So but instead of saying somebody should die, this is radio. You can't come and just peel.
That was where I lost it. So when he said that, he should die.
This is about history. Some of us know history. Forget to.
Okay,
if we start history now, you will go in. But that's not the focus. How do we heal the nation?
How do we heal? That is the focus. All right. So thank you very much. 0913-6000-410. That is the number to call. I'll take some messages now. We have quite a number of messages on Facebook. I have here Chris Ewalen. Good morning. On the issue of consistent collapse of the national grid, it's a reflection of capacity deficiency and incompetence of the leadership. And until the leaders get its act right, the national grid will continue to behave like a biku. On the issue of import waivers, it's just a policy that is mounted and never implemented. The president is good at giving directives, but making it a reality is an issue. It's sad that this country is drifting under his watch. John, that's Chris Ewalen sharing his own on Facebook. We also have John Bernard Ohi. He said, I don't see anything wrong with what Peter Obi said. It's time to move on because Nigeria is not the only country that has fought a civil war. What other parts of the country needs to do now is to stop the marginalization of the Igbos and let there be equity. Thank you. John Bernard Uhi sharing that one. Kabiru Adegbero, I just don't know where we are going to hear good news in this country. You see, despite huge amounts spent so far to have constant power supply, all we keep hearing is national grid collapse. God bless our country. And that's Kabiru Adegbero. I also have here Chika, Basil Chika. No measure put in place by this government that is working, be it import duties waiver on food and pharmaceutical. Look, I'm an imposter and I know how we pay. I'm an importer. I think that's what I wanted to say. I said imposter. And I know how we pay through our noses to bail our goods today. President should please stand up to his responsibilities as he come back and put his best brains at work immediately. Then on the attack on Mr. Peter Obi, I wish you will understand that Nigerians are not worth dying for and leave them to their fate since we are enjoying the situation we find ourselves. Chika Bende from Trade Fair, Lagos, sharing that one. I also have here Benjamin Ise. To me, Peter Obi wants to be president of Nigeria, not the president of a part of Nigeria. To me, Peter Obi is a man of peace. We can't continue to dwell in the past of war, animosity and sentiments. The birthday message of Peter Obi to General Gowon was in order. Vengeance belongs to God. As for food importation waiver, to me, it's just mere talk by the president. Tell me, apart from subsidy gun directive and increase of taxes, tell me any directive made by the president that is beneficiary to the masses that has been implemented. To me, the president knows the game. They are all playing as politicians. God will help us, and that's Benjamin Ise sharing that one. Nzechi Julius, history should be taught in our schools. My wife is an American and she can tell me what happened in the American Civil War. Taught in schools, advantages and disadvantages of the war, moral lessons and what to avoid. Nzechi Julius, thank you.
Beautiful, I like that.
Also, James Nkwachi Ogbona, I agree to unitedly and harmoniously. I've always believed in one Nigeria. If you observe any completion we participated in, especially outside the country, you see Nigerians praying as one entity. During competitions, you won't know who is from what tribe. Even outside the country, when any of our citizens is attacked, you will see other Nigerians coming through for that person. Like Fuad said, for equity, let the Southeast be given one more state, even if it won't solve our problems. I celebrate Peter Obi, and I also want to felicitate with General Yakubu Gowon. An Igbo person has been an army chief in person of General Ihe Jireka under Jonathan. That's to correct A.B. Pepe.
Yeah, that was a very wrong.
Cut it off. This division is only pronounced in the markets and streets and among families and communities. But when it comes to competition and humanity, we are one. Let's have more competitions, even at the smallest level, with the intention to unite us more. Like me now, I'm getting married next year to a lady from Auchi in Edo State.
Beautiful.
By the grace of God. And I'm from Imo. Let's encourage more intertribal marriages as well. James Ogbona from Osho.
And Yakubu Gowon created the NYSC, to also heal the nation so that people can move into different places, learn people's culture.
The purpose of the NYSC. That was the major purpose,
really,
for us to move on from the Civil War. But
and it helped, a lot of core members go to the east from the southwest.
Not excusing what happened,
so let's find a way to heal ourselves.
I also have here Onotoye Temitope is saying, I am happy that I am celebrating my birthday on the same date and month with an icon like former President Yakubu Gowon, head of state, who has sustained the unity of this country, because there's a popular saying that in unity we stand, divided we fall. I want to appeal to all Nigerians to let bygones be bygones surrounding the history of the 1967 Civil War. The strength we have being united should be diverted to building a better nation. On faulty implementation of presidential directives, to me, I put blame more on the government, which I feel is due to trial and error mechanisms, which the government is not even sure of the end result, whether it will be favorable to the citizens or not. So most of these ministries and government parastatals are just dancing around the bush too. If the government should come up today with good policies that Nigerians can see and are convinced that it's heading towards a positive direction, believe me, everyone, the ministry will conform with all these directives, because from that moment, consequences can be easily placed on anyone who has refused to implement these directives. Temitope Anatoye from Ijagamo community. We'll go back to the phone line now. This is Mainland 98.3 FM. Good morning.
Hello, Sandra.
Yes, good morning.
You're online, Mr. Ford. Good morning.
You're welcome.
the issue of civil war. Nigeria, to me, not the only country have passed through that. Rwanda, many of them.
Mm-hmm.
That our leaders is supposed to be one of the curriculum in our school. How the war was fought and how to move forward. So let me tell you, we can never move forward where the leaders continue to invent tribalism, appointment, nationalism, everything. In a country where eating food, dressing, religion, culture is not the same, how do you think they were going to unite? But all this.
Hello, Mr. Paul.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
We can now.
Yes, is that what's going to bring it? It's leadership. Like in Rwanda, nothing like Hutu or Tutsi. But here, Buhari came in his first tribalism appointment. The present president has accepted it. So we cannot, there's no unity with their jobs. What transpired that war? Who killed the court? What happened? Have all those been investigated? And we are talking about unity. It can never. It will start from leadership. If we want to unite this country, those that fought that war, how come even if they are died? It was investigated. But everything has kept under the capital. We can never.
All right, thank you.
And that is why the leadership like this. When you are president, you appoint your people, give them all the strategic positions. And when you talk to people, it doesn't matter.
Oh no. Okay. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Paul. Appreciate your contribution this morning. 0913-6000-410. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Sandra. And good morning to Ogafo. This is Gift from Unifan.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Yeah, like you said, I believe go forward. One of the ways we can go forward is not taking the war under the carpet. You see, for someone like me, I'm from Edo State. I grew up in Lagos. And I've experienced discrimination in the largest form. You can imagine far back in 2011, when you write the exam and you put in for Union Act, there was what you call the catchment area. You have a score of 190, 191. Someone who is from Ondo or Shun who would get into that same course for 150, 140, and you from Edo or from South, you score 190, 195, you still not get it. That is imagination on its own. And we seem to sweep the war under the carpet. I don't know how they took out history from our curriculum. Which is totally wrong. Tell us what happened in the war. I can tell you, for me, the only way I got to know about the Civil War was 2 books and from a movie. And I saw how terrible it was. My uncle married an Igbo woman, and she told us how the building at that built in Majegole was converted, was taken over, and today that building does not belong to them. Tell us what happened in the war. We must have our history back. We must have these books written. We must have documentaries about them. Do not put it under the wall, under the carpet. And let's have the equality. How can you have a particular region that has 5 states? The region that practically drives the economy of the country when it comes to business has 5 states. What happened to the Port Harcourt port? Why is the port not functioning? Let's have equality. Let's think be equal. Let's not sweep the war under the carpet. That's my own. And then for the president, always give directives. You know, during people would say elections have consequences. During the election, we said we want an hands-on president, someone who would be hands-on. You can't give a directive as the president and you don't follow it up. That is the problem we have.
All right.
Thank you. God bless you.
God bless you too.
Thank you very much. God bless you as well. Thank you. I appreciate your contribution. I just realized I haven't opened WhatsApp messages at all. My sincere apologies. I'll just go to WhatsApp now. Good morning, Mainland FM. My name is Emmanuel. I would suggest we allow new callers because it's like a particular set that calls every day so that they can call. All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Emmanuel. We try to, sieve as much as possible.
That's why you can use other platforms, WhatsApp, text message.
That's the point of Facebook, WhatsApp. So once we see a name that's brand new, we try to pay attention to it. There's absolutely no need for It's okay. Thank you very much. We also have here, blessed are those who never believe these people in government because they will not be disappointed. My president, in his usual character, has known the easy way to play on the intelligence of gullible Nigerians. Just tell them what they like to hear and they'll go back to their houses without any agitation. The government of the day so much believes in propaganda, not governance. James from Agbado Junction, sharing his own there. Thank you very much, James. I also have here, this is from Robert. There's nothing wrong with what Peter Obi did, but Gowon should apologize to the Easterners for declaring war against them. That war led to the death of many people. It has also caused the Easterners the chance to becoming president. Thank God for Gowon's age, but he should feel remorseful for that war before he returns to his creator. But that's one. I don't know how.
I think you should write a book. Actually, yeah, it's not written in a book. Yeah, yeah. Why not? It should.
But there's some truths that you don't want to see. No, the reactions of people.
That's why you document it. Put it in a book.
You don't understand.
It helps with history. Yes.
Maybe the book is ready, but maybe he wants to
go
beyond. Maybe he wants to go beyond, so that when the reactions come, they're not.
Reactions, I think at his age, he shouldn't be disturbed about any reaction, really. He's seen it already. So.
I think we are going to get a book. If we got a book from BC Akonde, we got a book from Jonathan, we got a book from a lot of
Ambassador has written several books.
No, he's a writer. Steve Ikelu from First. It was reported that Gowon came up with the 3 R's: reconciliation, rehabilitation, and reconstruction.
And even the NYSC for this purpose.
These measures towards healing the war wounds may not have been implemented to the later due to corruption and not Gowon's government. So irrespective of what prompted the war, the Easterners should be able to forgive and move on. As a matter of fact, all of us should emulate and commend Peter Obi on his message rather than bashing him. That's Steve Ikelu from Maryland sharing that one. I also have here Levi Aka from Agor Palace. I disagree with what Fuad said about our diversity being our strength. If our diversity is actually our strength, we won't be in this mess as a country. There have always been these ethnic fault lines in our national life. There's this saying that the conscience is an open wound and only the truth can heal it. Let us for once tell ourselves the truth. There's this deep hatred. I see nothing wrong with Obi's birthday message to Durago, but the truth is he committed genocide against our people. Let the healing start with an Igbo man being president. Thank you.
Well, let me quickly respond to that, Sandra. Again, I said our diversity should be our strength. It should ordinarily be our strength. And if you think that there's hatred amongst,
maybe they should.
Okay, but I'm saying it again that our diversity should be our strength. And for you to think that anybody hates anybody is just all lies. That's why when we are playing football, for example, there's nobody that talks about Igbo, Yoruba. We all celebrate. We all go behind our team, and to support them. Look at what happened in Libya. Even the Libya situation. Every Nigerian.
Everybody. I
remember when the South Africans were trying to play games with us or using Uber, Bolt, and all these things. Every Nigerian stood for Nigeria collectively. So what I'm saying is that look. Our politicians over the years have weaponized these things, ethnicity, tribalism, and it's for their own purpose. Rather than focus on governance and what they have not been able to do as leaders, we begin to fight ourselves. But when they are doing their own do, Sandra, they don't talk about ethnicity. They are all united when it comes to sharing the national cake and all of that. Let's just work together as a people.
All right. I also have here still on WhatsApp. Good morning, Milan FM. Listening to all the callers talk, it's quite clear that Nigeria and Nigerians in the southeast are not yet healed from the events of the civil war. I totally agree with Mr. Peter Obi and his congratulatory message. We need to heal, and it's unfortunate that our leaders are unwilling to start this healing process. Uchenna from Maryland sharing that one on WhatsApp. Emmanuel from Agbara. Sometimes I find it disgusting where people carry hate inside of them and pass it on to their children. Yeah, it's painful, it's bad, but should we now continue in hate? No matter the hatred, we'll all die one day. My own is the president or whoever should make things livable for people because the hunger is getting much and we're approaching Yuletide. See, this Christmas, maybe it's beans will eat.
Beans is even expensive.
Even beans is expensive. I don't know what we're going to eat this Christmas, but I know it's not rice and chicken.
Maybe rice and egg.
Jesus is Lord. Even egg is expensive. It's now 7,000.
So what do we then eat?
Don't worry, we'll just praise the Lord. Dolapo from Ikpaja. Corruption in Nigeria is no longer born out of temptation, but now an intentional and a planned one. It has become part of the system, part of the government, part of the budget, part of our existence as a nation. That is why nothing serious will come out of a sector such as the power sector. As far back as 8 years ago, South Africa was already generating 43,000 megawatts for a population of 50 million people and still adding, while Nigeria, in spite of the huge amount that has gone into the power sector, is still not able to generate a stable 10,000 megawatts for a population of about 200 million people. Their own power grids are collapsing every day, while their grid, that's GREED, is getting stronger and stronger. What a shame. Those monies meant for the power stability have found their ways into private bank accounts through the help of these corrupt banks. One thing is certain, whoever is part of this wickedness will pay for it in one way or the other. Yes, they will pay. It's only witches and wizards.
Really? You want water?
It's only witches and wizards that move in the night. I don't know where it's going with that one.
No, people move at night too. People work at night, move at
People
night.
work at night. We have night staff here at Mainland
And they
FM.
move at night.
And they move at night. We have engineers that work at night at Mainland FM. So it's okay. Thank you very much. Dolapo from...
But I agree that witches and wizards move at night. Have you seen those movements?
You're not helping. You're not helping in any way.
But people move at night, actually, depending on the kind of job they do. Yeah.
That you are, there's no way that you are helping in what we are discussing this morning at all. All right. Hello. The Southeast is geographically too small for an additional state.
Who says?
Who said that? Who is saying this?
Me.
Who is this person? How is it? Do you know how many states were cut out of states for
the north?
For the north?
I know there's always been this argument that land mass. An empty land mass is not different from water that has no people on it.
Who divided the land mass?
When you look for the north, they have the land mass, but you create states on empty land mass.
What we had three regions: the northern, the western, and the eastern region, and there was pushback that created that landmass that you're talking about. So it's not as if from nowhere people just woke up and said this is our land.
So to say that the east is too small, no. You have to look at population too.
The east became the east because of creation and division.
It's even wrong to say that they don't have what it takes to have 6 states. Whatever must happen, they must have 6 states. Just at least look, the northwest has 7 states, Sandra. 7. And some states, if you check, really, it's just land mass. They really don't have the population.
They don't have the people. That's really unfortunate.
I was part of the last census as a supervisor, and I know what I saw with all manner of paddy.
And just as one of our callers also highlighted the fact that there's a port in Port Harcourt, and why all of them have to come to Lagos is a big question. So I think at the end of the day, Fuhad, we come to an agreement that leadership is the issue as regards healing.
Yeah, of course, leadership, yes.
Yeah. For us in this country, some people even went further as regards the ministers. Ministerial appointments is also an issue. And we talked about.
Well, I think we have to also agree that there's a level of clannishness that comes with our appointments. And it's just very important that we look at some of these things. We say it doesn't matter, it matters really when you have these lopsided appointments. Yes, for the ministerial slot they say each state must have, but there are several appointments that have also shown some lopsided appointment to the southwest, particularly Lagos, that people have talked about consistently. And it's just important that we pay attention to these things when we're talking about equity, fairness, and justice. But above all, good leadership will make people heal naturally.
Oh, and I would also like to reiterate, when we say good leadership, we're not only looking at the central, not the federal government. The
subnationals too.
The subnationals have their part to play. Your governors, all our governors have their part to play as well, as regards governance or as regards the healing process for us to move forward as a people. All right. Thank you very much to everyone who was a part of the show. It was quite a short one this morning. I don't know, because we had
times. When you're having good conversation, time speeds by, so.
All right. Well, the conversation, of course, continues. Not to worry, and we are not shying away from it because we it is what we do. It's part of our job. The conversation definitely continues, so just stay with us. If you missed Political Roundtable yesterday, I would enjoin you to visit our YouTube page or our Facebook page and search our Political Roundtable for yesterday. And there was quite also a lot that was discussed as regards socio-economic issues in the country at this time now. My name still remains Omobola. Sandra is and always will be, and I thank you for for your time as well. I know you're not supposed to be here, but maybe you just had to run into the studio because you had to drop your 2 cents.
And to rescue you from the hands of the...
Thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. All right, so coming up next by 10 a.m. is Global View. We'll be looking at the top stories on the international scene. Trump is cooking... Trump is cooking Kamala Harris. Barack Obama is cooking Trump. That's how it is.
The elections are here, Sandra. Less than a month now. America will go into the polls. About 2 or 3 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks.
2
weeks.
weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks time. What are you saying? It's in 2 weeks time. So it's been
tension in the line.
It's quite an interesting one. And then you now have
I just hope
Elon Musk cooking.
No, he's campaigning for. I've seen him on the podium campaigning for Trump. Really, he's a Trump.
He has been cooking
supporter,
CNN all through the weekend.
I just hope, and I pray.
American politics is very interesting to watch. So stay with us. We'll be back by 10 a.m. for Global View.